This podcast brought to you by Basecrete, leaders in waterproof bond coatings for the swimming pool and construction industry.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. I'm here today with Lance Johnson and Steve Walsh of Rebound Pool Services. They're going to talk with us a little bit about their new product and how it's impacting the pool industry. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Appreciate you being on the show.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
Hey, guys, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your company? For those of us in the pool industry who've never heard about Rebound, what it is that you do and what you specialize in.
Okay, great. Yes, so our business is selling a new system for decks and inside pools that creates a soft surface, and we sell to pool builders and renovators and give them some instructional videos on how to install it. So the system is a pretty simple system, and it can go over existing finishes like concrete, plaster, pebble, stone finishes, and it creates a nice, colorful finish for the pools and decks.
So for those of us that never heard about Rebound, I'm just going to give you a little bit of backstory about that product. It's kind of like that. If you've ever taken your kids to a playground or some kind of park, they have these kind of bouncy kind of surfaces. And Rebound is kind of similar product in terms of how that application looks and feels and what that product is like. Isn't that right, guys?
That's exactly right. We actually have a sister company that started about 13 years ago doing playground safety surfacing. And they got into splash pads about 10, 12 years ago. And that's really kind of where this started. Right after that, the owners were having some cocktails on their back patio, and the dog knocked all the drinks off and they all broke. And they thought, boy, you know, if we could get our product to be on this deck in a different way, broadcast instead of mixed in, we might have something that would be, softer. And that's kind of how it really got started.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're using it on pool decks and pool interiors, right?
Correct. Yeah, it can go on multiple products, but our focus really is for pools and decks. I mean, we're looking at doing also houseboats, pontoon boats. There's been some fishing boats that have been done and some other smaller avenues, but really we want to focus on pools and decks. Pools right now are probably 75% of our business.
So I guess the biggest value proposition of using Rebound as a product is that it's a slip resistant surface, right, guys?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that side by side, if you compare to all the other decking products that are out there, the safety issue comes up, and it's a slam dunk on it. Also for stairs leading down, the surface of the pool that's shallow enough to where you can walk around. If you're worried about safety at all, this is a huge benefit.
Can I play devil's advocate for a moment, guys, and just ask some questions that, I'm sure contractors probably ask you guys all the time?
Sure.
Okay. So basically, how durable is this product inside a pool interior?
So the product is really two components. There's a two-part polymer, and then there are granules. And both of them are made for being underwater and also wet, dry conditions, and which is actually a little tougher than just being in the water full time. So it's really impervious to water, doesn't interact or react to it at all. And we think it's going to have a really, really long life, both the decks and pools.
Well, you say you guys have been doing this for 2 years, right? So, I mean, it's not a really long time to have a use case study, all right, like say 10 years of different pools in the ground and how they react to things like UV and chlorine. But based on what you've seen so far, I mean, how UV resistant is the product? How does it hold up year after year with exposure to the sun and elements?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the best test for us has been the 10 years or so that it's been used in splash pads, which has heavy traffic, high chlorine water. It's exposed to the sun all day. It gets wet, it gets dry on and off constantly. And holding up to that is much tougher than what happens when it's sitting in a pool. So we feel really confident based on the past history we've had with the products. And the granules that we use are really they feel like a little squishy soft rubber, but they're actually the highest end product. They're called TPV, and it's a type of plastic. There's no fillers. It's really just solid throughout, and a fantastic product. And it's going to be something that's going to last a long time. Plus, it doesn't leach or interact with anything, so it's just completely inert and a great product for being in a pool environment.
Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, it's a little bit different having this product in, say, a pool than typically like maybe a splash pad or a playground. How stable is the product in terms of holding up to chlorine and the harsh chemicals that people use to clean and sanitize pools?
We've done a fair amount of testing specifically for that with really heavy chlorine. And what we have found is that well, our oldest pool is really a large commercial pool, and they have 7 pools on at the resort. And they have found that our pool is the easiest to maintain because there's no interaction. So really the chemicals are less harsh because there's not that many in there. You're really just keeping your water clean, not dealing with the water getting clean and interacting with the other products that are in the shell of the pool. So and UV stable chlorine, all of that is specifically what this proprietary formula was made for in the polymer.
The comfort is a big issue with pool owners. I mean, I know it's why a lot of folks who are thinking about, maybe buying an in-ground pool opt for a fiberglass or a pebble interior if they're thinking gunite. Can you tell us a little bit more about what a Rebound pool interior is really like and how it feels when you're using it?
Sure. Yeah. The product itself is a 3-coat, and it's really just using the 2 products. So the polymer goes on, it sets up in a few hours. We put a second layer of polymer on, and granules are broadcast into the surface. And then the next day, the loose granules are vacuumed up and it gets applied again. So it's about, for a standard pool of say 900 square feet, it's about 27 man hours to install it. 3 guys, 3 days, including all the prep and the final cleanup. But that 1/4 inch that you get is a very durable, very flexible, has some elongation properties to it. And it's we call it Rebound because it's a kind of a soft, squishy product. It's not super soft, but it's way softer than all the other products on the market. Feels great to stand on it in the water.
What can you tell us about the installation process of the product? I mean, who's using it? What's the reception been like?
When they find out about our product online or word of mouth, they tell us that they want to take over their territory and start ordering truckloads. And we tell them, let's just get 1 pool in the ground to get your hands on the product. And the response has been incredible. In fact, the amount of feedback we've gotten from customers on other uses for the product, better ways to install the product, has been priceless. But it really is about getting past seeing the sample and touching and feeling the sample and actually applying, whether it's a small deck or a small pool or a fountain like we've done for some customers, just so they can see it in action. And so they can see how little labor is required to go over the top of an existing surface versus that big tear out and all the mess and expense with that. So it's been great feedback. We've had constructive criticism on some application processes, and we've revised our processes because of that. So that's something we always strive for, is to get better and get the feedback of those who have a lot of experience in the field.
Additionally, I think a benefit is that to get into installing the product, it's very economical. You're looking at a few $100s in product that you would need to install versus pretty pricey for some of the products that are out there.
Well, give us an idea of that initial outlay. I know one of my contacts, Greg Sample, is actually using your product. He's been implementing it in a few of his jobs. What's that process like to get started?
Yeah, and Greg's been fantastic. He's been with us from the very get-go. Yeah, so that process, really, the granules come in bags and they get blended. So a mixer, you can rent those at Home Depot for about $40, or for a couple $100 you can buy one. And those will mix the granules. We send them out in full bags, and then they get blended on site, which really allows you to customize it. Some customers will alternate the color of the steps, make the Cabo shelf lighter, put in stripes, do all kinds of things because they have the granules there and they're not locked into any very specific color unless they want to. And the other products really are just ways of applying the polymer: roller frames, roller covers, poles, some spike shoes, which are about $20 a pair. I mean, the list we have to get everything you would need to get into the pool and deck installing business is about $700. And you would go through about $100 to $125 per pool in consumables. So the outlay is pretty small, but my guess is you may already have, the pool builders may already have some of those, like most guys already have a power drill. Most already have a mixing blade. There's, things that they would probably already have that would come off that list and make it even less expensive to get into. And then one last thing on top of that, it's very easy to teach somebody how to do it. If you can use a paintbrush or a roller, there's probably a good chance you can install our product.
What types of pools can you use Rebound in?
So fiberglass pools, concrete pools. There's the plaster pool is easy. Pretty much any type of aggregate pool. And we've also been approved recently for composite walled pools. So there's really not much we've come across yet that we can't cover. We've even found out that the stairs that are used for vinyl pools, which the whole industry has been looking for something that will work on that. We've got a lot of interest in that as people are finding out that we can cover those ugly old white, broken up, cracked stairs into vinyl pools. Vinyl liner pools, they have stairs that go in and they end up getting issues, and there's not a lot that can be done to keep them looking nice. They can be repaired, but that kind of actually adds to the discoloration and the patching. And with our product, you can actually skip the first step and just do a double broadcast. And the only prep work needed is an acetone on a rag, and you wipe it down and you're ready to go. And you can pretty much get it done in one day at a pretty economical price. And then you not only end up with a really colorful set of stairs, but it'll match your vinyl liner in the colors that you have. Grays, blues, whatever works. And it'll have some cushion to it as well. So very attractive. We got a couple pools that do the same way, that are all cracked and patched, and then it looks like we've put indoor outdoor carpet in it when we're done. When we go meet with pool builders for the first time and we get a chance to actually talk to somebody, in this past year or two, it's been tough. But when we do, they usually call guys from the back offices and say, hey, come here and check this out, because it's so new to them and so different, because there really isn't anything like it out on the market.
Have you guys been using this product in in terms of commercial pools?
Yeah. One question we get is, does it work in commercial? Absolutely. Does it work in spas? Absolutely. There's other products out there that can't handle the heat, but we started in Arizona and we have decks there, that it's 120 degrees out and you put a heat gun on it, and sidewalks down there can get awful hot. I hear up to 160. Our product's about 20 degrees cooler out in the sun, but if we can handle 140 degree temperatures out on the sidewalk, we can handle 104 degree spa pretty well.
We've also had several jobs up in North Dakota. We've dealt with the freeze and thaw cycles as well. So in climates where it's definitely, down into the single digits, we're applying in those climates as well.
That's true.
So like that expansion and retraction that happens typically during the off months when it's when the temperatures get to freezing, it doesn't really impact the product whatsoever, does it?
Correct.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I mean, basically, before we close, guys, if there's anything that you want the industry to know about your product, if there was an elevator pitch that you had only like a minute to tell everybody about your product and things that you would want to impart and have them know about, what would it be?
I think for me, it would be that if you have a situation that you have a lot of ugliness in either your pool or your deck, you've got different elevations, you've got cracks that you've patched, you've got coping, you got all kinds of odd situations. We go over all of that and give you a nice, uniform, beautiful, soft, colorful, durable finish. And before and after pictures, I think, really show it, but you got to get a sample in your hand so you can see how flexible and soft it is.
If the guys in the pool industry wanted to have a QA session with you guys and maybe had some questions for you offline, would you guys be willing to be able to answer some questions if anybody who was thinking about maybe incorporating Rebound into their process wanted to talk to you more about it?
Absolutely. We would love that.
Outstanding.
Good feedback for us as well.
That's all the time we have today. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Basecrete, the leaders in waterproof bond coats for the swimming pool industry. Please make sure to subscribe, and we look forward to catching you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.